How you doing today, folks? I haven't done an update video in quite a while, so I thought today would be the day we'd come outside and go ahead and make one. Forgive me if I'm squinting, the sun is like right in my eyes, but I just don't want to be wearing sunglasses. It just doesn't look right. The first thing I want to say is I've officially caught up on my videos. All the footage I had filmed is used. And it feels really good, you know. I made a pretty big push this winter to finish the series I did on installing the landscape, and then I did like the series on rebuilding or fixing up the Steel 066, which was just a fun series. And I want to say that this winter I tried as hard as I could since about, I think it was November. My season was over in November, and I said, you know, let me see what happens if I publish more videos and if it does anything to increase the channel, get more subscribers, get more views, whatever. And, you know, I've noticed a difference, but I gotta say, I have not noticed as big a difference as I had hoped. Depending where you look in YouTube, you know, they keep track of how many views you have. And I swear I have seen a day where I had over 30,000 views in one day, which still, you know, amazes me. If you go back to my first video that I ever filmed of it was deadheading daffodils, the video was lousy. And I can't say these videos are much better, but they're better. How much you guys can decide. And you know, I thought if you made good videos and taught people things, your channel would grow, and it has. Don't get me wrong, but I think there's some X factor involved in the bigger YouTube channels, and part of it I think is I don't want to, you know, bring a shotgun out and shoot a bee's nest. And I don't want to like burn stuff just for fun, and I don't want to put stuff in a shop press. I don't want to make videos just for the sake of making videos. I'd like there to be some point to the videos, except for my update videos, which tend to just be rambling. You know, once in a while we'll ramble. But as far as like doing a vlog of the family, you know, YouTube is my thing. My family didn't, you know, they didn't ask to be in these videos, and even I try not to film other people either. And maybe it is, you know, according to the law, you're allowed to film other people. But, you know, this is something I'm doing, and I made a decision to be on YouTube, but not my family. And I know, you know, if I did a vlog and pulled my wife into it, you know, people like to see the interaction between husbands and wives, and I just don't want to go that route. I would like to start interviewing some people, and that's a little bit beyond my comfort zone, whether I go to local nurseries or I go to suppliers suppliers for just wood cutting or landscaping. You know, there's a lot of suppliers, like Steel has a warehouse in Connecticut. A company called Logrite has a warehouse in Connecticut. I'd like to do some videos of that kind of thing. And that's a little bit outside my comfort zone because, you know, whenever you get the interaction of two people, you never know what's going to happen, and it just, you know, you can kind of predict how you're going to act. So I think that would be fun. I think people might enjoy it. But yeah, that's just my thoughts on the channel, and I have some notes. I'm sorry, I'm just going to glance at my notes because there's always something I want to say that I don't. And the other thing I wanted to say I don't want to do, besides shooting bees nests with shotguns and burning stuff for fun, was I don't want to, you know, I'm not going to give names, but I don't want to go around and copy other people's material and pretend that I'm like some all-knowing, all-powerful person, which to me is arrogance. If I use somebody else's material, or if I get the idea from somebody else, I'm going to put a footnote, I'm going to mention it, and at least put a link in the video. And I think that's fair. I see a channel where the guy all the time, like if you do a search on the video he's doing, somebody else has the video, and he's, you know, claiming it to be his idea, and I don't think that's right, you know. If you learn something, I think you should, acknowledge the teacher. Call me crazy, but again, I think that's why I think society today wants to see, society in the United States wants to see people that are overconfident or arrogant, or just, you know, that exuding confidence. And I'm never going to be that guy, because to me there's always something to learn, there's always something new to know, and I can never be like, this is the way you do it. Maybe the landscaping videos, because I've done it for 20 years, but I can't fake that. I mean, there's always, even landscaping, if I drive by a landscaping job guys are working on, I'm always looking to see what they're doing, to see if there's a way, a way to do things I can learn. You know, and when I had employees, I would learn so much, because you know, you'd see ideas outside the box. And speaking of ideas outside the box, I want to send a shout out, or I just want to recommend one channel I just started watching literally about a week ago, and it's called Out of the Woods. And it's a fella in Tennessee, and I don't know his name yet, but he's got a big beard, and he's got a Wood-Mizer LT35 sawmill that he goes out and saws lumber with, but he also does some woodworking as well. And I think it's always fun to watch woodworkers go out and saw lumber, because they know what woodworkers want. They're not just sawing for the sake of sawing. And I've already learned a ton from this fella. And so I'll put a link to his channel in the description. But if you go see some of his videos, I've started commenting, because you know, the most awesome thing about YouTube is you can search anything you want to learn and find somebody who knows infinitely more about it than you do, and they'll, you know, teach you what they know, and it's awesome. I've never been a big book reader. I mean, I try to read books. I read books before YouTube. I'd read books, and I still do read books, you know, for plant name and plant information, but I'd much rather watch a video. It's just much easier for me to take the information in. So the other thing I wanted to talk about was, you know, we clearly had a change in the weather. And a week ago I filmed a video of the backyard all cleaned up, and literally a day later we had a foot of snow. Or no, I filmed the video of the backyard cleaned up, a day later we had like 3 inches of snow, and then 2 days ago we had a foot of snow. So I was really thinking, you know, I was getting that nervous jitters about the landscaping season starting, and I got to get my equipment ready. And I mean, I can't do a thing for at least 2 or 3 weeks outdoors until the snow is gone. So I don't know. I was kind of looking forward to being a little bit prepared early this year, and maybe this is a good chance. I really want to force myself to start maintaining my equipment in the next week or two, even if I just do 1 or 2 pieces. So when it's time to go, I don't have to, you know, get things tuned up at that stage of the game. And then the other thing, another thing I wanted to mention was, you know, last year I disappeared for, I don't know if it was 2 or if it was 3 months, but there was a point last year where I did disappear from YouTube. And I wish I could tell you folks that it was because I was really busy. But what happened was I was doing the brakes on my Dodge pickup truck, and there was a lot of brake dust on the steering knuckle. So, you know, I try to be safe, but every once in a while I do stupid things. And I took a needle scaler and I went to clean the dust off of the knuckle on the Dodge. And I was working outside, and I wore my P100 respirator, and I thought, well, I got the respirator, I'm outside, everything's going to be fine. And it was. But after like maybe 15 minutes of needle scaling, I felt fine, but just for whatever reason, I got nervous about the dust, so I cut my respirator open, and I noticed that there was a little bit of dust inside my respirator. And I hate to say that really freaked me out, but that really freaked me out. Breathing brake dust. So I did go see a doctor, and the doctor was just like, John, that's nothing. That's like nothing. That that you had a respirator on. There was no concern whatsoever. But I couldn't get it out of my mind, and I just kind of I don't know if I'd say freaked out, or I just kind of you just think about bad things happening. And they usually say that if something that minor bothers you, there's usually more to the story, and there was. And so I guess I kind of needed to reset, and that was just the incident that kind of set the reset. And I think that's why I came out with such energy with the videos, because I kind of refreshed for whatever you want to call it. But I did talk to the doctor, and they did like a chest X-ray. They did every test they could to assure me that there was nothing possibly wrong, and I feel silly saying this on YouTube because I'm going to be labeled a girly man or something, but I never smoked. I don't drink much. I don't want to do things. If I die, I want it to be a natural causes, not because I did something stupid. And, I did talk to a mechanic about I went to my garage and I talked to the mechanic. The guys I go to when I need a mechanic are very good. And, both these guys grew up in the 80s in a garage. And, Jesus, the stories they tell me, which just of blowing off, I guess back in the day, most cars had drums on them, not the pads were inside. It wasn't the rotors, it was the pads inside the drums. And part of the maintenance for changing brakes was to just take an air hose and blow out the brakes. And I guess mechanics would do this several times a day. And these guys as kids would be in a shop, and one fella told me that the mechanic would start the brake job, give the air hose to the kid, and then as he was a kid, and he would blow everything out. That was his job. And I'm pretty sure just one time doing that is more exposure than I would have gotten outside with my respirator on. But the moral of the story, guys, is just be safe. I know when you're younger, you don't think safety. When I was younger, I started doing masonry walls and sidewalks, and I'd wear the respirator with the chop saws, and eventually I started doing it wet cut because I didn't want to be around it. And when you do masonry with wet cut, it's just a whole new level of cleanup to do. And I kind of got out of masonry. Well, number one, I was very slow at it, but number two, I just didn't want to be around that dust all the time. So just be safe, guys. And I guess that'll lead me to the final place we are with the state of the CTScaper. I think every one of these videos, I swear I'm like there's something, I'm going through a change. There's something's a little off, and I think that's just the state of life for me. Is I'm always, I may not show it, but I'm one of those people where my mind is always going. I believe the term there is introvert. But my mind is always thinking and going, and I chose the life, the path my life took is the path it had to take. All my life I dreamed my own business, and I did that. And I dreamed, literally, what you're seeing in my videos is what my dreams would have been in my teenage years, with the exception of I always wanted 5 acres and a barn. I'm missing the barn, which is why I always use my neighbor's barn as a background, and I'm missing 5 acres of land. But I wanted to have a spot where I could split wood, cut wood, tinker, the word people use for me is a tinkerer. I like to tinker with things. And so I can't say that it's a midlife crisis because, oh my God, I worked in an office all my life and this isn't where I'm supposed to be. But I'm just kind of like, and I think it's possibly part of YouTube is, we got an airplane, pretty low. I think it's part of YouTube is you see these other people, and along with YouTube is people tend to sensationalize their lives. People only show how awesome it is to cut down a tree or out of the woods. It's always a beautiful sunny day. He's only wearing like a light sweatshirt. And it's just like, wow, that must be what milling's like. Well, I'm pretty sure there's going to be rainy days when you're milling. There's going to be days you hit nails. I saw him hit a nail in a video. The machine's going to have breakdowns. And, you know, I don't think it's all sunny days, but if you watch all these homesteading channels, it's just like, hey, we're homesteading. We do what we want. We collect firearms. We have quads. God, I want a quad. And life is awesome. And I gotta say, I think life is pretty awesome for me too. It's not like there's anything majorly bothering me. I'm just, as I'm doing this chainsaw milling, I'm really enjoying the chainsaw milling, and maybe it's just, maybe I find these times when I'm a little bit more off the track, or my thoughts circulate is off season when I'm not as busy, you know. Maybe it's my slow times and I'm kind of like, you know, but I always thought, I keep saying this, and I know there's more to it. I always thought if I had good equipment, if I did a good job for people, the work would always be there, and people recognize that. And unfortunately, and I know it's me as much as society, because I'm also older. The way I do things is different. I don't just run out to get jobs. But it just doesn't seem that way anymore. It seems like it all comes down to price, and especially after 2009, you know. And I know there are companies that are doing great in this economy. I have a friend who's a workaholic who's doing great, and you know, I wanna send. There's two channels I watch where there's two guys that have the personality for a successful business, and I can't think of them right now. But you know, there's the guys that just get out and do it and make it happen. And then there's guys like me, and I'm more of a craftsman than a business owner. And when I was younger, I would go out and make it happen more. But now I just I don't want to work 12, 14-hour days. I don't want to go on free estimates. You know, I don't want to go on 10 free calls to get one job. But that's part of business, you know, that's how you get business. And I don't know where that's going to end up, you know. But I think if I was going anywhere with this whole train of thought, I think it's just basically, you know, running a bandsaw mill sounds fun, but I know if I got one, it wouldn't be all fun, you know. And I think I'm very lucky to be where I am. You know, we are a fairly, it's funny, I'll call it an affluent community, but yet if you talk to people that drive nice cars and have nice houses, they won't say that they're well off. But I live in a fairly affluent community, and it's great to do what I do in this community, because if I'm going to find customers, these are the type of people I want to work for. Actually, I really want to work in the Litchfield Hills, where there's people that live in New York City, and then they have like country retreats. I hear that's a good place to do work as well. But I don't think I'll ever have this whole business thing figured out. And when I was growing my business, when I was a teenager, you know, I started mowing lawns, and then I did snow. And when I started my business, I did lawn mowing, and then I got into landscape installation, and then I got into masonry and concrete walls. And then for a while I was taking some courses and learning about perennials, because I want to work more perennials in. And I even did low voltage lighting for a while. So I think that's just a natural part. I'm always looking for, you know, something new to explore. But it just seems, I think I'm just acknowledging it for what it is more than saying I'm lost. I'm just acknowledging that that's just the way I think. Maybe that's what I'm saying. Where is the channel headed? So I might do some milling videos. I shoveled out around the Lagasaw mill. So once we get a few days to melt the ice off of the rail and the logs, I'll start doing some milling videos. I had a 7-tooth sprocket on my 066, which would mean the chain was moving fairly slow but had good torque. I ordered an 8-tooth sprocket from my steel dealer, so I don't want to do milling videos until I have the 8-tooth sprocket, get a little more chain speed and increase the speed of cut. Maybe later today I'm going to do a reveal of some boards I milled 2 or 3 years ago, just to show you guys what the stuff looks like. We'll do some landscaping videos when landscaping starts, whether it's around my house or at other people's houses. You know, I like to do videos with a sense of purpose to them, as I said, and I don't know, maybe a day in the life video. I don't want to do a day in the life video because you know, that's kind of like sensationalization again. You know, but I could take you to jobs and kind of show you what's going on. But there's a lot of videos. I mean, to my landscaping guys, there's a lot of videos that show you. I mean, if you watch those videos, I try to show you this is what the work site looks like. This isn't staged, you know. This is the way I do things. And the series I just finished, there was like 22 parts on how to install a new landscape. I mean, that's how I do it, folks. That is how I do it after 23 years of my own business. That's the method that I have for doing new landscapes. So a lot of the information is there, but I guess it's always good to see fresh content. It's just tough with a new customer. You know, with a new customer, sometimes it's tough to say, hey, I'm coming to work at your house. Can I bring a camera and spend half the day talking to a camera instead of doing the work? Most people want to just see progress. Call me crazy. But yeah, we'll do some more landscaping videos when the season's nice. I'd like to do a few videos of maintaining the equipment. Again, there's guys that can do a lot better videos. Just go watch Donnie Boy, but I'd love to just kind of show you maintaining. I think I did a Z-Master one, so maybe we'll do like a Dingo maintenance one, maybe we'll do a Bobcat maintenance one. Those videos never do very well. They're basically just for the fun of making the video. And the milling videos, so yeah, we'll do more videos. I don't know what about. And, you know, the only other thing was, how do I say this right? You know, if any of you guys ever want to, you know, I absolutely hate it when people ask me for money and for donations and all that stuff. It annoys me, so I'm going to say, only if you find that you've benefited from my videos, that you've saved some money because you learned how to do something quicker, that you're a landscape contractor and you learned how to do something better. You know, if you could do me a favor and just go to my website, go to the contact page, and I'll make sure my address is on before this video goes up. If you want to send me a donation, I mean, it's going to have to be reported. I'll talk to my accountant, but if you want to send me a donation, basically to help me with cameras. I was looking at cameras the other day. I'm not going to get a drone, but I would like to get a second camera. I have a GoPro. GoPros are awesome for moving stuff. GoPros are horrible for 2 cameras because the GoPro, while it's good at moving stuff, it's not so good. It doesn't match the camera that I'm using right now. So I was looking at a second camera, which would be around $750, $850, and I just can't pull the trigger now. I think it would be awesome to do these Logasol milling videos with 2 cameras. I've done it enough now where doing 2 cameras isn't a big deal to do. It'd be a lot more fun, but I cannot justify a second camera with the returns from YouTube, which is really sad because I thought I would be able to. So if you want to send me a check to make it out to Land Designs Unlimited LLC and mail it to the address on my contact page. I'm pretty sure I set up the Patreon thing on YouTube. I mean, you're welcome to do that if you want. I'm old school, so it's just easier for, I don't know, order stamps, like $2 now. For the cost of a stamp, you just mail a check, and I would appreciate it very much. But again, guys, you know, if times are tight, you know, don't even think about it. Don't, you know, but through the years, there have been people on YouTube that have helped me out, and I have sent them checks just to say thank you because, you know, YouTube gives you the chance to talk to industry experts like they're your next door neighbor. So I'd appreciate if you could, guys, but again, if you can't, I totally understand. So guys, we are going to wrap this one up. You know, these these update videos, they just go forever, don't they? I don't know how much of this I'm going to cut out. I'll be honest. We'll see how much of this video makes it to the end. I guess the only other thing I can say is just, thanks guys. Thank you very much for being there for me. Thank you very much. There's guys that have been with me from the beginning. There's like 5 or 6 guys that I almost notice when they don't comment more than when they do, because I expect them to be there. And, I just want to thank you guys for being there and encouraging me along the way. And I am getting teary-eyed. There's a fella one town over who's a good woodworker. You can tell he knows his stuff. Not that I watch videos, just you can tell when somebody has confidence because they're not confident, because they're humble. And this fella, has many times said, John, if you ever need a hand with any of this milling stuff or questions, let me know. And it just took me like freaking 20 takes to get this right, because I got emotional. And I guess it goes back to something in my childhood where it wasn't about helping people. It was about, you got to make money. You got to make money. That's the purpose of life. You got to make money. But it just blows me away that there's people on YouTube. I've connected with a lot of people in my town, 1 or 2 towns away, that have offered to help or just encouraged me. And it's encouraging to get encouragement. And I just want to thank everybody on YouTube. When I started making the videos, my biggest fear was the negativity. And I have to admit, there are some people that are very negative. And the first few times I got it, it really offended me. But what I would do is every time there's a negative comment, I would go and see who they were. And invariably, people make negative comments, have no videos, and they go around and all they do all day is tell people what's wrong with them. And what I do now with negative comments is I just block them. I don't get in a tit for tat. I just block them. You're gone, And I prefer to make a mistake by blocking someone I shouldn't, because sometimes people try to do this passive-aggressive thing. But the most amazing thing about YouTube is there's people in so many areas that are just, what can I do to help? How can I help you? And I don't think I had a horrible childhood, but all my life it was, what are you doing? What are you doing to make money? How are you going to make money? And it was never about helping other people out. And I try to be about helping other people out. But I guess that's why I got kind of teared up there. So I'm really ending the video this time, because it just took me like 10 minutes to say what should have taken me 2 sentences. But thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you soon.